never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the f*** are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna f***ing do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Oh yeah, you fight.
Repeat after me. Fuck Boston.
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 We're not gonna lose this fucking game.
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat's UK live pre-game streaming show brought to you by the Miami Heat UK. Here to preview tonight's win or bust Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. What a way that was to start. Thank you very much, Ollie Rahimi, for bringing that to my door just a couple of minutes ago. Seemed like the right way to start. Let's introduce the cast. Ollie, how are you, sir?
Fuck Boston.
That's it. That's all we need. Sam Aquara, how are you, sir?
I'm pumped. I'm so pumped for tonight.
It's the way. This is it, mate. This is the way we need this to go. Bilal Monar, how are you doing?
I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous.
Well, look, I understand the nerves, and I've already been asked this a few times today. Oh, how you feeling? How you doing? And I'm like, do you know what? I'm cool. I'm fine. Don't get me wrong. If we get this tonight and it goes to Game 7, then yeah, it's a totally different feeling. But I'm at peace with this at the moment. There's reasons for where we are. We're going to come into it all at the moment. But always I just want tonight, if we lose, we lose. I just don't want another game like we've had over the last two. We can't be going out sad. We can't be going out with 80-point, games, etc. That's going to really piss me off. But if we lose tonight, we fight hard. With all things concerned, I'm good with it. So I'm feeling relaxed. Let's get into it then, guys, because after we last spoke, Heat had a 2-1 lead, 2 games since then, and an abomination in terms of shooting. An 82-point game, an 80-point game, 30% from the field last time out, 15% from three. Sam, I'll start with you. It doesn't matter how you set up. It doesn't matter about injuries. We're going to talk about all this in a minute, about Jimmy's health, Lowry's health, etc. You can't win basketball games shooting that badly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's shocking. The past 2 games have been absolutely horrible to watch. I expected it to be a sort of a defensive slug off, but I didn't expect it to be that horrible on our end. I mean, we came into the playoffs the best 3-point shooting team, and we can't buy a 3-point shot at the moment. And playmaking has just been non-existent. Kyle Lowry, been waiting for him to come back off injury, and it's just disappointing. So it's not really much positive to say about the last 2 games. A lot of hope though. Yeah,
absolutely. Ollie, what shocks me is this was the best regular season 3-point shooting team in the league. And, I've seen Spo get some criticisms, etc. Maybe there's a bit of validity to that in terms of reacting differently, etc. But doesn't matter what team you put out there, that you've got to rely on your players to hit shots. And I said 15% from free last time. How has this dropped off so dramatically? Is there a reason? Is there a fault behind it? Is it down to just fitness levels? People just haven't got your legs under you. What's going on here? How can it be such a drop off?
I think it's a little bit of everything that you just mentioned, but credit where it's due. Boston's defense is incredible. They were one of the best defensive teams in the regular season, and they have been in the playoffs. So, credit to them. They've really shut down the Heat's weapons. But I think it's that coupled with, just something isn't right. Something seems off. Jimmy obviously isn't full health. Lowry's not full health. We've not had Tyler. And these aren't excuses, because we should, and we showed through the regular season that we can win without these guys. But, it's just expecting more from players that we've seen more from at the end of the day. It's been frustrating. And this 3-point drop off we've seen Maybe it's the slower pace of the playoffs that's caused this a little bit. It'd be interesting to see the stats of sort of when the Heat get their 3-point shots. I know a lot are sort of early in the possessions as well. So in slower playoff basketball, does that offense change and stuff like that? So yeah, it's been disappointing. But like I said, credit to Boston. They have played really well and their defense is really, really incredible. But yeah, I would just expect more from the Heat from what we've seen.
Yeah, and the last two games, as we said, 1 point in game 5 after 6 minutes. I think there was 4 points after 5 minutes. Again, we can talk about injuries, and I'm going to talk about injuries in a second with you, Bilal. But you have to get rolling. You have to get the momentum behind you. When you look at that, the game that we took in Boston, we flew out the blocks. We was electric, and we stunned Boston. Every time you're making that sort of start to a game, that's a deficit already. You've got to try and you got to grab that back. And when you, as I said, when your legs aren't under you and you're struggling for maybe injury wise and health wise, you need to get some sort of momentum on the ball, don't you, to get going, to give us a chance against a really good team. Bilal, sorry.
Oh no, oh yeah, definitely. The past 2 games have been horrific starts. It's just unexplainable. You would think that the beginning of the game you have the most energy, but I don't know. It's like it takes so long for us to get in, and then especially that game 4, was it? Yeah, we lost the game in the first 5 minutes. At least for the game in Miami, we held on a bit, and our depth got us back with Caleb, with Vic, with Gabe. But that game 4, we lost the game literally in the first 5 minutes because we couldn't make a shot, and it's unexplainable, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard enough against this team anyway. You've got to start off sharper than that because you're just not going to get back into it. They won't allow you to get back into it. Let's talk about health quickly, Sam. Lowry has been a non-factor the last 2 games. We're big fans of him on this account. We know this. We saw his benefit when he came back in the win in Boston, how quickly he pushes the pace. Even though his box score is never always going to jump off the page, you can see the impact that he has. But he's clearly not right. He's clearly got this injury issue. We know already, which is quite strange, that Spo has said this early on that it's the same starting 5 tonight, which is really un-Spo-like. Do you think it is the right decision, considering what we've seen the last couple of games? Or do you maybe think that give Gabe a chance, who's been fantastic? He's been the one that's actually kept us in the game the last 2 games here to give us a chance. His energy, his hustle, his scoring as well has been good. Do you maybe think that maybe that's a switch that we should be considering at this stage, and maybe see Lowry come off the bench? Or are you sticking with the guys that have got us here in the first place?
Well, we've got to consider the sort of time that Gabe Vincent comes in. So he has played some good minutes against the starters, but he hasn't really been matched up with them for as much as Kyle Lowry has been. So as much as I love to give him credit, I mean, look at him. He's right at the back of my whatever. Yeah, I give him credit for how good he is, but I don't know if we want to have him starting the game on the jump. I mean, we're getting to the point where we might not even have a choice but to do it. But Spo knows best, I believe. And if he feels in a probably season-deciding game that Kyle Lowry is the best option to start with, then I'm going to go with Spo. And I've always said it's not about who starts the game. It's always about who ends it, who's there when we need this game to end. This playoffs has made me reconsider that a bit because we started really terrible in some games and we haven't been able to pull that back. But I stand by it.
Yeah, it is obviously it's a well-known phrase. It's about who finishes, but this series has been really weird in that sense, hasn't it? Because every game's been a blowout, really. I mean, the last game ended in a 13-point lead, but that was only because Heat made a run really when the game was dead. Every game's been sort of 20 points plus, so it is a bit of a strange series. Ollie, let's come on to Jimmy Butler, who was jumping off the page. We looked like we'd seen finals Jimmy return. He looked like the best player in the postseason by a country mile. Then that injury, or he insists he's not injured, but clearly he is. The knee, obviously, with that bitch play by Pritchard, has now caused him. He's looked a shadow ever since. It's clearly causing him an issue. Can we need 2 wins here to stay in this series, to keep the season alive? Can we do that if Jimmy Butler is not up to his full power?
Yeah, because we saw that in the regular season. But against an elite defense in the playoffs, I don't think so. If we had fully fit Jimmy Butler, I wouldn't. To be honest, I wouldn't be that nervous because we've seen what he can do in the playoffs. He's got a 40-point triple double and a 35-point triple double in the finals against LeBron James, Anthony Davis, when he had no help. Effectively, we've seen him. He had a 40-point game at the start of the series. He crushed the Sixers. He crushed Atlanta. He can do it by himself, but not in the state that he's in at the moment. Obviously, he's saying, like you said, that he's not injured. I don't know how true that is. Maybe he's not wanting to make excuses and stuff. But yeah, I think it has had an effect. But even before that injury, I think that was Game 4 that happened. If I'm right, Game 3 he was pretty quiet. The first half of Game 4 he was pretty quiet. So yeah, something's just not right. We know that his 3-point shot is pretty unpredictable. It's fallen pretty well in the playoffs, to be fair. But he's not doing the things that usually gets him the points. He's not getting to the line as much. He's not attacking as much. He's not finding these open guys and crushing the defenses when he puts a lot of rim pressure. So yeah, something's just not right. I think without Jimmy, the task is so much harder. But with a fully fit Jimmy, I wouldn't have any worries.
Yeah, well, as I said, a fully fit Jimmy Butler is as good as any superstar in this league because, what people can't replicate is, although he might not have the natural raw ability as what a lot of stars do in this league, his grit and his determination and his grab the game by the scruff of the neck and win this game for you almost single-handedly is what the guy can give you over what a lot of players can't. So without Jimmy Butler at full health, this is tough. We've had Greg Sylvander from 5 Reasons say that from what his detailing and through his sources, he's heard that 4 out of the 5 Heat starters would not be playing if this is a regular season, and injuries that would be keeping them out for 2 to 3 weeks. So this sort of shows that the task and uphill task we're up against here. Bilal, the one player that we know is fit and is firing and he's got full health is Bam Adebayo. He led the team by 18 points last game out in the last defeat to Boston, but a lot of those, as I said, were when the game was almost done. And again, the same criticisms come that we need Bam to step up more. We can't have him be a passenger tonight, can we? I'm not saying that he isn't passenger, but he needs, if we're going to win this game tonight, if this is the case that 4 of our 5 starters are injured, let's say it as it is, they're injured and they're going to be playing through this, we need Bam to be taking over here against Williams, don't we? We need him to be more aggressive. We need him to be getting to the basket. Get into the line. We're relying on him to win this game, in my opinion, tonight. What do you feel?
Yeah, I do agree to some extent. We do need to see an aggressive Bam, but that's not only down to him. It's about us finding him in the right spots. It's putting him in the right positions to score for him to have favorable matchups. If he's gonna go up against Robert Williams the whole game, then it's not going to be easy for him. And then again, he's going to consume a lot of energy just on offense. So I do believe that we need to find the best solution to how he gets his points, like we did in Game 3, because we were feeding him the ball. Kyle Lowry was getting him good shots early in the shot clock where their defense wasn't set. And obviously now there's a whole lot of a harder task with Robert Williams back. But it is on him. But I think ultimately this is going to be a team effort if we're going to pull out a win here in Boston.
Yeah, of course it is. And I think the difference again that I noticed, the ball goes to Bam a lot early on. And in that Game 3 win, I think he was on like 10 points after about 4 minutes. He got off to a blitz at the start. And again, the ball went to him. First 3-4 possessions, the ball was in his hands. His shot, it was his shot to be made, and he missed all of them. And he's the sort of guy that gets me that, although he won't stop, I feel like that affects his confidence, and that's the sort of thing maybe that is the main criticism of Bam Adebayo, is it's maybe a mental thing because it's definitely not an ability thing.
Definitely to your point as well. I feel like, when he misses a couple shots, he's just going to stop shooting, which we don't need, especially for today. So I think he needs to just put up about 15, 20 shots.
Yeah, we need a big game from Bam tonight, mate. No doubt about it. And I've got a good feeling. We're going to see some good stuff from Bam tonight. It has to be. Sam, Spo's gone depth quite soon in the last few games. We've seen a 9-man rotation all the way through the first quarter. Duncan coming off the bench. Gabe, as we know, Victor Oladipo has been brilliant. Do you think, again, we see the same again tonight? Do you think that he might tighten it up? Or do you think that with the injuries, we're going to rely on Vic, who's been brilliant? Gabe has been brilliant. Caleb Martin's been really good as well. Maybe a good run for Caleb tonight.
I think tonight anything's possible. I think it's going to be all hands on deck, and whoever needs to fill in wherever gap is going to be plugged in as soon as they need that person to do so. I mean, we've seen good sort of minutes from Caleb Martin. We've seen exceptionally good minutes from Victor Oladipo, and I want to believe Eric Spoelstra he won't waste any time adjusting in game today, because the urgency is extremely important today.
Definitely. Ollie, just coming away from the actual game tonight, if it ends tonight in whatever way, whether it's a blowout loss, whether it's an overtime, last possession, buzzer beater, if the Heat go down in 6 tonight, what's your thoughts on the season in general? I mean, we'll come back in the next week or so. We'll do a pod of something. We'll grade players. We'll have our thoughts and reflect on the season once we've had a bit of downtime to think about it. But if it ends tonight, it's still been a successful season, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on it?
I hate that question. Yeah, I think if you, at the start of the season, I don't think many of us would have predicted to be that close. I think in the first stream that we did, most of us had the Heat at like 3, 4, or 5 seeded during the regular season. So yeah, to finish first, to ease past the Hawks, to pretty easily get past the Sixers, and then to go to 6, maybe 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, I probably would have taken it at the start of the season. But having said that, the arc that the season has been on and how we've played and how we've dominated teams, and we have been the number 1 team in the East all season long, haven't been respected, haven't got the attention that we deserve. All of our players, the coach, have been overlooked for awards. I feel like we could do better. I feel like we can. I've got the guts. I think we can still do it. Heat in 7. So I would be disappointed now, but that's obviously Heat at the moment. And yeah, I'd have to reflect on it, but I just hate that question.
Yeah, we will reflect on it. We'll give it a week or so, and we'll podcast once the season is over, which it's maybe not going to be tonight. Let's not give up just yet. But Lau, let's just talk about that quickly. If the Heat get a win tonight, it will be a huge win. No doubt about it. It will be a monumentous win. However we get there, therefore, we'll then be favourites to get through this series, wouldn't we? You get that back to the Heat house, it will be rocking. You'd expect then Heat to come through in 7, wouldn't you? But having said that, who knows? This season has been this series, there's been no home court advantage, really. It's been abysmal, really, the home court advantage.
Definitely. If we win tonight, we're going to the finals. 100%. I do believe that. I feel like the momentum we will carry, Boston will drop their heads. They've got still relatively young players. So I don't see where the experience will come in that sense, apart from obviously Horford and Smart. But I feel like if we win today, we're going to win definitely in Miami.
So just stand with you for a second then. Obviously, we've got to win 2 of the next 2. No easy feat at all. But if we do, it's the Warriors, as we know, in the finals. They'll be favourites. They've got home court advantage. If the team are beaten up, that's going to be a task, isn't it?
Yeah, it's literally, if we're healthy, I would have been way more confident. But Jimmy's not healthy, Cal's not healthy. A lot of them are banged up. PJ, Tyler, that's our main core players. It's not like it's just some fringe players that get a few minutes here and there, but these are our main players. So even if we get to the finals, we just got to enjoy the moment.
100%. Ollie, you've come off mute.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm with Bilal with that. I think it will be so hard. Like that Warriors core of Clay, Steph, Draymond, they've been to the finals, I think, 6 times out of the last 8 years. And the only 2 years that they didn't make it is when that core wasn't healthy. Like, that is an incredible team. That is dynasty level. Not quite Jordan Bulls, but it's not far. Like, to get to 6 finals in 8 years is amazing. So, yeah, if we can make it to the finals, I'll be happy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, let's win the next 2 games first against Boston. Let's try and get there first. Sam, again, this is another question maybe for when we pod in a week or so or whenever. But if we go out tonight, does Pat Riley make wholesale changes to this roster, or will he make tweaks? I've seen a lot of people, the timeline, as we know, is very reactionary, very emotional. Everyone's traded, everyone's blow it all up. The only thing that concerns me is that this is an aging roster. I love the team that we put together. It's full of fighters and full of dogs, but is there enough to get you over the line, even at full health? Does Pat make some changes, do you think? Doesn't really matter who it is, and we don't need to identify players right now, but do you think there'll be some work in the off-season, or will it simply be run it back and hope for full health?
I don't see a situation where run it back. There will be changes made because we have some serious contract issues to address, and the players have highlighted a few of them as well. So there will be some changes. I don't know if there will be big changes, but there definitely will be some changes.
Okay, nicely done. Right, guys, let's get some predictions. Hopefully, this will not be the last time we do this season, but we've got a task on our hands tonight. As I said, I'll go last. I just don't want us to go out sad tonight. It will be such a disappointment to get that home court advantage back after game 3, to play so well, and then since then, 82-point game, terrible blowout. 80-point game, terrible blowout. Players injured. I don't want to go out like that tonight. I believe we can do this. Ollie, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I've got the guts. I've got the guts, man. We're going to silence the Garden. I think we're going to win it. It'll be close. It'll be defensive. It'll be low scoring, but we're going to do it. Get it back to FTX. Heat in 7.
Love it. Bilal, give us some positive, my man.
Yeah, I was going to say that if Boston actually beats us today, that means they're going to beat us 3 times in a row. I don't know. I don't see that happening. So I'm with Ollie. I got the guts, man.
Yep. Well, this is what I said in conversations on my last podcast, etc. I said, look, this team can lose to anybody. That's fine. But you've got to beat this team 4 times, and that will, as you mean, it will mean you've got to beat this team 3 times in a row right now, and that doesn't often happen, especially to Spoelstra teams. Sam, wrap it up for us.
The odds are stacked against us. It's a tough one. But 10 years ago, I witnessed the greatest single performance in the playoffs that I've ever watched. Game 6, Eastern Conference Final, same scenario, same team, same location. I'm picking the same outcome. Heat in 7.
There you go. What a great way to end. Yeah, I brought out all the legends today behind me. I thought we needed some of that. Yeah, that's a great way to finish. I'm going to agree with you. I just think that what I loved about it, and as you know, when games finish, especially at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm normally in bed and asleep 2 minutes later. I stayed up a little bit after that game because I was just pissed off. And what I loved about it was Spoelstra's reaction. They're already talking about how we're going to make this a momentous Game 6, how we're going to make some memories, how we're going to have a series now that people are going to talk about for years because we'll bring it back to the FTX. We're going to get back here on the 29th. These were all the things that we wanted to hear after a dismal performance. And as banged up as we were, that's what the dressing room was saying straight after the buzzer. So I love that. This team is built for this sort of stuff. I believe we're going to get there. Heat in 7. A 4-point win tonight, I'm going to go for. So brilliant. In terms of, I'm not going to start saying any, thanks for joining us and thanks for your support over the season because the season is not done yet. There's plenty more time for that. And let's finish with...
Repeat after me. Fuck Boston. 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 We're not going to lose this fucking game.
There you go. Great way to end. Guys, as always, it's a 1:30 tip-off throughout this series. Follow us at the Miami Heat UK. Follow us and subscribe to Miami Heat UK TV. We can do this, boys. Let's get it. Let's get back to the FTX. Let's put a stamper down. Heat in 7. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the game. Take it easy.